Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes as we watch historic Hurricane Dorian. This is the enhanced satellite view from overnight, and you can watch the eye literally moving right across the length of Grand Bahama Island. It gets about halfway across, and then it looks like it's taking a little bit of a jog to the northwest. It's literally crawling at 1 mile an hour. You can go on a brisk walk and do about 4 miles per hour. That's how slow this is moving at this point. And the top winds have dropped from their peak, estimated about 165 miles an hour versus 185. And the Hurricane Center is going to be waiting for reconnaissance aircraft data. It hasn't really, there have been no flights during the overnight, so we don't have a solid view of what the intensity is at this point. So we're going to give you a couple of views here with Dorian. I've got this radar shot that is showing up. You can see where the eye is and the island of Freeport. This is Settlement Point, which is on the western end of Grand Bahama Island, reporting a north-northwest wind at 52 miles an hour, gusting to 60 miles an hour. The eye on the radar is still a little ways to the west, so it appears, judging by some of these observations, that the wind field may have expanded a little bit, and this is not a surprise. You're not going to be able to hold this Category 5 strength for much longer. It will start to edge off a bit. It is sitting over the warm water, yes, but that water is getting up well to a certain extent. And also, the islands are going to have some impact on the circulation to a certain degree as well. So we're going to see it come off its peak. Maybe later today, we'll see the top winds drop down just a little bit. It's highly volatile. It's all part of eye wall replacement cycles. You're still going to obviously deal with a Category 5 or a very strong Category 4 hurricane as it gets closer to the Florida coast. Warnings continue. There have been no changes in the warnings from Jupiter Inlet to Sebastian Inlet. And I think the biggest issue for Florida is going to be the storm surge. The track of Dorian just offshore is not really that different from Matthew, Hurricane Matthew back in 2016. Matthew was tucked in a bit closer to the coast. It kept bouncing off the coastline as it went up. But there was a lot of storm surge and tidal surge flooding up and down the Florida coast, particularly in North Florida, because you get that circulation coming in from off the water ahead of it, the easterly winds and the northeasterly winds, so the water just piles in and gets trapped in that corner. The forecast logic remains unchanged. Dorian to gradually turn northward moves very little between now and tomorrow morning, and then maybe a little bit more moving northward on Wednesday morning, 2 a.m. By 2 a.m. Thursday, it is east of Savannah, south of Charleston, and then by 2 a.m. Friday, probably making landfall over the outer banks of North Carolina. So the risk for the coastline further north, and particularly the South and North Carolina coast, especially the North Carolina coast, is increasing with time based on what we're seeing. Two radar views. We've got the view from Melbourne, Florida. There are some bands coming in to shore in and around West Palm Beach, south of Fort Pierce, and you can pick up the western edge of the core, and you can see it a little bit better on the Miami radar, but it still has not come into full view. As far as the track is concerned, I've got a tight view here of the GFS model over the next 100 and actually I have it going out to the next 6 days. So at its closest point, which is right here, you're talking roughly about 40 or 50 miles with the eye just offshore. And you'll notice here with the winds coming in counterclockwise, this is why the tidal flooding is going and the storm surge is going to be such a big issue, because that water is going to get pinched down on the west side of the hurricane, assuming that it does stay offshore. It stays, gets very close. And by the way, this is this view the storm stays in the middle, and it's the geography that winds up moving. So by the time we get to Wednesday afternoon, it's east of Jacksonville, then makes the turn, comes very close to Charleston. This is probably less than 20 or 30 miles, and you can see the heavy rains. While this is happening, we're seeing the wind field expand, and Dorian actually at this point, which is Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m., is just about on the coast, very close to the South Carolina, North Carolina border, and now here on this model, taking it inland near Wilmington, over the Outer Banks, west of Cape Hatteras, and then it turns out to the east. By Friday, we could be seeing, by over Thursday night into Friday, we could be seeing rain moving into New Jersey and eventually into Long Island. It doesn't get very far to the north of New York City and Philadelphia. You see the heavy rain that is just touching southern New Jersey, and that gets into eastern Long Island and southeastern New England. Now, obviously, there's a whole lot of work that we have to do going forward before we have anything specific regards to what the impact here is going to be. Clearly, the storm, so the center of the storm is going to be morphing into something less than what it is now, and it is going to be passing well to our south and east. It looks like you would see a winter storm, and in a lot of respects, it may behave accordingly, except for the changeover to snow, obviously. But the bottom line is that there's going to be some impact with regards to rains later this week, and then we'll have to figure out the details. We'll see what exactly we'll be dealing with in the coming days. For the time being, today, Labor Day, we do have some changes here from eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. We are dealing with a cold front that'll be coming through, and that puts us at risk for some showers and maybe one or two rumbles of thunder, especially as we go through this afternoon and into this evening. Doesn't rain continuously, but of the 3 weekend days, this one not quite as good as the first two. All right, so we're going to keep you posted on what's going on with Dorian throughout the day. Patreon members, you'll get a Weather in 10 video during early this afternoon, and we'll have our regular YouTube live stream tonight at 7 o'clock. Joe Rayo will be joining me for that. That's at 7 o'clock Eastern time on my YouTube channel. Meteorologist, I'm sorry, my YouTube channel is Joe Cioffi. My website is meteorologistjoecioffi.com. Also, you can follow it along on the app, but you can get additional weather coverage all day long, 24/7, actually, by joining my weather platform on Patreon. It's patreon.com/meteorologist Joe Cioffi, and just $2 a month. Or you can become a Facebook supporter for 99 cents a month, which really goes a long way to help keeping my free weather app, keeping ads on my free weather map down to an absolute minimum. And you can do that by clicking the Become a Supporter button that is on the Facebook, on this Facebook post. Have a great day. We'll see you later.